should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What's happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And this next comedian that's on the phone line is one you can see next week at the Tampa Bay Improv in Ybor City. On the phone line, live on Hoppe Hour, is comedian Keith Bender. What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
How's it going, dude? I was watching a lot of your videos, and I love your approach to comedy. You just seem like a guy that doesn't take yourself too seriously, but you have a lot of fun up there.
Man, I've been doing it since childhood, man. It's like it's a visual thing for me. It's like I try to bring on the stage what I see in my head.
So what made you want to go into comedy? Because for me, I've always wanted to be in radio because I liked how it's an outlet to be outspoken. So for you, what made you want to go into comedy?
Always trying to make people laugh, always being silly. I've been doing that since I was little, always trying to be silly or be funny and people kept telling me I should get on stage, and I went on stage and tried it, and it's like crack.
So basically, were you good off the bat, or were a bunch of your open mics bad where you had to grow from it? How was it for you, Keith?
Oh, man. I started in this black bar.
Yeah.
And it was brutal.
What happened?
Black people, you gotta make us laugh.
Yeah.
and they just looking at you like you crazy. Like, who is this dude on stage? So yeah, I kept. It took a while for me to get them, but when I finally got them, it was. I was like, okay, yep, I could do this.
What was the show you had where you're like, okay, I'm good at this? Because right off the bat, you weren't as good as you wanted to be. You were having a hard time grabbing the black audience. What was the show that you just said to yourself, okay, I'm getting good?
It was a couple of jokes that I had came up with, that started getting good reactions. And, as you keep saying a joke over and over again, you start to polish it. And I put them all together one night, and that one special night, I even got it on tape. That one special night, I was just killing them, and I was like, "Yep, I can do this."
But do you ever look back at your old comedy and sort of cringe at maybe it being hacky since you've grown over the years?
Man, I can't even watch them old tapes. I can't even watch them old tapes, man. It's brutal. I mean, nobody's laughing. It's definitely something to laugh at now.
Since we're both guys that are pretty creative, isn't it weird how at first we overcompensate and we try way too hard, and years later you look back and you just get douche chills, Yep.
And plus, I think I had it. I'm not gonna say I had it easy, but I had two guys that took me up under their wing. That they taught me everything from the beginning. So they pretty much threw me out to the fire, and I just had to go out there, and I had to always go first on stage. And if once you get good at it, if I can go up in front of these people and go first and make somebody laugh, you can't tell me nothing. I can step on any stage.
Now, what was some of the best advice your mentors and other comics gave you when you were first beginning in comedy?
Be yourself. Don't try to be like nobody else.
Yeah.
Keep on writing, and just don't stop.
Now, when it comes to coming up with jokes, and you just said the word writing, how do you come up with your ideas? Is it sort of observational? Is it about the news? Is it about your life? What type of comedy do you bring to the shows?
A lot of times it may be through conversation.
Yeah.
Or you may see something and you put a funny twist to it, or you hear something silly and you like, oh man, if I say it like this, that's gonna kill. And it's mostly about getting up there and just having fun. When you're having fun, when you're in the moment, a lot of times you get a lot of material that way also.
Is a lot of your comedy sort of on the spot, where maybe you look at the crowd or a joke comes to your mind? Is it sort of improv in a way at times, where it's just on the spot thinking?
Yeah, a lot of times it can be that way. You see somebody in the crowd and they do something, or you ask them a question and their answer, you just be like, okay, I'm gonna say this, and it just gets a great reaction.
What is the key, though? What if the first few minutes you're not doing as good as you want? You're getting a few laughs, but it's a bit awkward in the crowd. How do you regain confidence and then get the crowd back?
Not to sound cocky, but I really don't have that problem.
Yeah.
That's a good question, but another thing I've been told, if you say a joke and it's not working, just move on to the next joke.
Yeah, just pick up and make sure they don't remember that the joke didn't work and gain them back, right?
Yep, because they don't know that the joke didn't work unless you really bring attention to it. Some comedians be like, y'all didn't like that?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Don't say that. Yeah, just keep on going. Just keep like you really didn't mean for that.
So another thing I want to ask you too is this: what is it like when you get to open up for comics like Eddie Griffin, Rob Schneider? How surreal is that for you as a comic?
It's funny you say that, because I've opened for both of them guys, and Rob was really nice. I mean, like extremely nice. He gave me a lot of great advice. Eddie Griffin, somebody told me I had him over in the corner rolling, and when I met him, he smacked me on the stomach and said I was funny as hell. So that was cool.
That's awesome, man. Isn't it really cool when we first go into radio, or for you, comedy, and we see these guys as larger-than-life figures, but you end up meeting them and you just see them as regular dudes, and they're really nice and genuine?
Yeah, that really is cool, but a lot of times, man, it's a lot of guys out here that aren't cool.
How disappointing is that? I've met people in radio that I've looked up to, and you meet them and they're douchey. So for you, do you get disappointed, or do you just go whatever when you meet somebody and they're kind of a dick?
I just don't go around them. I just say to myself or whatever. I'm like, okay, if he. A lot of times, I haven't ran into him, but I've heard other comics say that they've worked with some guys that didn't speak to him the whole weekend. So I'm like, wow, how can you be a comedian making, hundreds of people laugh, but you're really not a people person? You really don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, those are the people that are overcompensating, Keith. They didn't really fit in when they were younger, so this is their time to shine, and that's when they grow this antisocial ego,
I think you don't become that way. You've always been that way.
That's true.
And when you get on a bigger platform, now you can really show who you really are. That's how I look at it. So you're not just becoming an asshole. You've always been an asshole. Now you just a real asshole.
For people that haven't met you, and for people that haven't seen your shows, what type of person are you? I definitely pick up on your vibe that you're not an asshole, but after some shows, do you get a bit cocky and confident because you just fucking killed it?
Nah.
That's good, man.
Nah. I just look at it, like I said, I just look at it as having fun, man. Everybody is going through something. And, you know, I've had people come up to me after the show and tell me like little stories, you know, that they were going through. Or this one lady told me she didn't want to come to the show, but her girlfriend drug her out of the house and made her come. And she said I had her laughing with tears in her eyes, and she's glad that she came because her son was murdered.
Oh, man.
And she gave me a real big hug, and, you know, I'm like, when I hear stuff like that, that makes me feel like that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this.
That has to be so awesome to have moments like that. And what I want to ask you is, what is the best town to perform in? Because I've had comics on my show, and they say that some towns get the humor and some towns don't. So what are some places that you do well in and some that you don't do as well in?
I would say, like, I've noticed, like, some places that really aren't, I don't know, like Iowa.
Yeah.
Some crazy, weird cities. But I've been very fortunate. So
that's
I know
awesome.
Indianapolis, man, they laugh like they never laughed before.
Yeah, it seems like the Midwest places are the ones that want to laugh because it's cold up there and they're not always the nicest cities. I'm from Chicago and I lived in Cleveland for 4 months, and it seems like those are the places that really dig comedy and going to see comedians.
Oh yeah, I'm from Chicago too.
What part? I'm from Mount Prospect, the suburb.
South Side.
That's awesome because it's the best city in the Midwest. And I think it's getting way too much hate, Keith, because of the crime that happens in Chicago. Because it's weird how whenever you bring up that you're from there, they go, oh, is it as bad as it sounds? Goes, no, that's one part of town. You have Wrigley Field, Navy Pier, you have the lake. It's the best city in the Midwest by far.
Yeah. Yeah, but it really is unfortunate, though, man, that, you know, all of that crime is going on, and Chicago is one of the most creative cities as far as talent wise.
Oh yeah,
you know, comedy, music, you know, arts, and I don't know, man. It's really sad.
What did you think about like the Midwest weather? I am so glad I moved out of there and I came to Tampa, dude. I was not a fan of the winter weather at all when it's like negative 20 in February. That's not the type of life I want to live, you know?
Yeah, I don't like the winter time either, especially driving in it.
Oh my God. And some places don't even plow the weather. Like they'll plow the major roads rather, but they won't plow the neighborhood. So you're just driving in slush, you know?
Yeah, yep.
Where do you live right now? What current city?
I live in Columbus, Ohio.
What's it like there? Because I lived in Cleveland, and the Midwest just kind of has this weird vibe, but I feel like that's the nicest place out of everywhere in Ohio is Columbus.
Yeah.
It seems like...
it's pretty... Go ahead.
No, I said it just seems like a really unique place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Columbus is, I call it a melting pot because you have a lot of cultures that have come here, that have migrated to Columbus. And it's like you have every different type of, every different type of culture here. So, you know, white, black, Somalian, African, Mexican, everybody's here.
What do you like to do in your free time when you're not doing comedy? What are some things you like to do so that you don't burn out?
I like to, you know, do little activities with my girlfriend. You know, we go bowling, we go to the movies, do little stuff, do other little things.
What's the last movie you've gone out to see?
Man, what was the last movie I went to go see?
Are you big on superhero movies? Do you get into that whole genre?
I do like it. I did see the Avengers and I did see Transformers. But I like action.
Oh yeah.
We went and saw Barbershop. That's what it was. The last Barbershop.
How was that? Because I'm a huge fan of the first one.
It was a lot different.
Yeah.
This one was they were trying to send a message mostly.
That makes sense.
Stop the killing, and we all need to come together. So that was mostly. I think that was like mostly a message.
I feel like we kind of need that message. I feel like we're just sort of breaking apart as a country with Trump and Hillary, and they're just not very positive people, and you have crimes in the ghetto, and just there's violence at schools all the time that doesn't get covered. You know what I mean? It's really sad where America's going, even though it's the best in the world, you know?
Man, and I'm telling you, I honestly believe all of that starts at home.
Oh,
yeah. We don't discipline kids like we got disciplined growing up. And people call 911. They say you can't touch your child and you can't do this and you can't do that. But then you turn around and he out there doing this and doing that. So then they blame it on the parents anyway. So I'm like, they can't discipline them, but then I'm like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, Keith,
that's the problem.
Everybody's their kid's best friend now, and they let them have social media and smartphones. I think that's one of the problems.
Yeah, I think you can't help but go with the times, because that's where we are today as far as social media. But you still should have respect for your parents and respect for your elders. And I just think it starts at home. The way my mother raised me, man, my mother was no joke. And me and my mom are tight to this day. And look at what I turned out to be.
Isn't it awesome when your mom has your back? Like for me, she's helping me out here in town, even though she's up in Chicago and she sees what I'm doing. Isn't it awesome when our moms have our back?
Yep. That's you can't, what they say, you only get one mom.
Yeah.
And a lot of people out here disrespecting their moms. And I'm like, if you disrespect your mom, you'll disrespect anybody.
Yeah, it's one thing where kids don't have respect anymore, and it's getting real sad. But what I want to ask you, next week when you're at the Tampa Improv in Ybor City, what are some of the topics you're going to cover? What's your comedy going to be like?
I talk about a lot of different stuff. I talk about myself. I talk about growing up. I talk about women. I talk about relationships. I talk about all kind of stuff. I give a broad I give a broad aspect on everything.
That's definitely awesome, man. This is an area that really digs our comedy. Tampa Bay, I've been to so many comedy shows. I'll try to make it out next week. They really dig your comedy. So people that might want to check out the show, but they're on the fence if they want to do something else at night, why should they come out to the Tampa Improv?
Oh man, it's gonna be a great night, man. I'm opening for Damon Wayans Jr.
Nice, dude.
So yeah, come out. You got to come out because I'm going to do my silly comedy, and he's going to do his silly comedy. So if you want to laugh, come out.
Now, before I let you go, where can people find your work online so they can see some of your comedy?
I'm on YouTube. I got a couple of clips on YouTube. I have a couple of clips on rooftopcomedy.com.
Nice.
I have a website, KeithBenderComedy.com. So, yeah, just type in my name, comedian Keith Bender. You'll find me.
Well, you can go see Keith Bender next week at the Tampa Improv, as that is in the heart of Ybor City. And the call to get tickets, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. Call them at 813-864-4000. It's 813-864-4000. And it's definitely a show to check out. And their website is improvtampa.com. Well, Keith, it's been a lot of fun having you on the show. I'll definitely try to make it out next week. And I really like the videos I saw of your laid back and fun approach to comedy. It's really respectable.
That's me, man. That's me. I'm myself on stage.
And we appreciate that because Tampa is a town that digs their comedy and digs their arts. We like radio, seeing plays, TV, comedy. So I know for sure you'll do well next week.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Hope to meet you.
Sounds good. Keep up the good work, Keith.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Peace out, man.
All right.
And that was Keith Bender, the comedian, as he called into Hoppe Hour to talk about his shows next week. And to see him, it's not hard. Go to improvtampa.com. That's the website for the Tampa Improv. It's in the heart of Ybor City. And call them at 813-864-4000. It's 813-864-4000. Speaking of which, this has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.